we have that free lunchroom. Once we move the high school boys into the gymnasium, we have those 4 classrooms. Much more breathing room to develop our size as we internally grow. So again, hopefully some great thoughts of hope going forward with the developments. That's the church, that's the academy. Now the full picture, if you didn't think you had enough to consider. Going back to this color-coded plan, there have been a lot of big picture ideas. I can even say that I had less of a big picture than you had yourselves initially. There was a book or a little pamphlet made up by some of you that we have as a reference, as it says Syracuse expansion. So some expansion, some ideas, and all of those are currently in color, and we are going to put on paper. Will we have them? We don't know. One of those is a convent. And I can tell you I have already requested to petition to have sisters here, officially. And I've already requested to have brothers brought here, society brothers. I've already requested that. I'm just trying to go through the channels. But they told me to hold my reins. But nevertheless, it's being questioned and we're seeking. Will we have it? We don't know. But nevertheless, it is in our master plan idea to make sure that we have certain locations for them if they so blossom. So in the full picture, not only a parking lot, which we need, as I will show you as well. That's the first thing. The second thing is the gymnasium. Then after that, we'll see what develops, but possibly a boarding house, a possible priory. Right now, we will have 5 priests this fall, and we have exactly 5 rooms in the priory. A 6th room if you're in the laundry room on a cot. We do that often, which is fine. But that is the current status of the priory, and the only windows in the priory are from the bedrooms. None from the main area, except the skylights. It's fine, it's very doable, and it's new. It's pretty wonderful. But at some point, we need to expand. So will it be a purchase of a house? Will it build a house? But again, you have to build a house for possibly 8 priests. Your current ones plus a couple visiting. It's a good question. So therefore, a boarding house or a priory to be built or purchased is one thing. Nevertheless, once we move here, we do need to think about that church. We're putting it on a 10-year plan, and if we get money quickly, shortens it. If we're able to move the process quickly, shortens it as well. But that seems the most realistic to consider. And then, as we mentioned, the convent, and then also the cemetery. So we possibly have a cemetery of our own. I don't know how the town will allow that when we have a cemetery to my right, a cemetery to my left, and some cemeteries in people's backyards. Very unfortunately, but they're around here. But we will petition for our own cemetery as well. Also, before I forget, although it is important, I do not list it, but we will have ball fields somewhere, and that is that green and yellow baseball diamond area. That back portion, which is to your back right, which was leveled a year or so before, will most likely become the baseball diamond, a soccer, or 2 fields back there. That will most likely be where we go. Probably we will just extend this back driveway all the way to the entrance to those fields back there. So that's developing as well. Any questions? Let me go back to the parking lot idea to show you a couple designs so then you can have possible questions. This is option 2. It's one of the options for us. I will try to zoom in for you. You see the arrow, it points to a long stretch. That is the extension of our parking lot. Our current one is that short section, and then 2.5 times that is the extension proposed. That just means we keep on walking and keep on driving, and we'll try to have some spots reserved for some of our favorite people. But that is a possibility. I myself am trying to strive away from that. I'll tell you my reasons why, but that is definitely open. And we just have to level a few things to allow it. It will allow us, as it says, 68 more parking spots, a total of 102 parking spots. So I think it should accommodate church and our academy functions. Now, if we have the church at a different location, we will then have to have parking there as well, but this will facilitate us for the near future. Also, just to allow you some peace of mind, as you come into our parking lot now, it's very narrow. It's 1.5 car access. We are going to open that bottleneck, that grass piece to your right. That will be opened up so it is a 2-lane possibility. The second option of the parking lot will be what the arrow points to now, which is more of a box form rather than a marathon form. And that, again, is 70 more parking spots, 102 total. So the same amount. For us, the reason I would choose personally this option is that it's multifaceted. On a long, thin parking lot, you can't use it for multiple things in many ways. This you can use as a playground area. You can use as a rollerblading rink. You can use it for many things in my ideas. It's close to home. As unfortunately, though, it does take the baseball diamond away. So for those baseball lovers, please make sure you put that on your pocketbook and say, is that allowed or not? Also, for me to take away the baseball diamond, we're not taking it away completely. There's hope. We do want to put it back with the other fields. If we're going to put fields back there anyway, it makes sense to put them all together. None of us want to park next to a baseball diamond. You laugh because you know the reasons. I don't know why anyone puts a parking lot near a baseball diamond. Here, don't worry, I'm not accusing you because you put the baseball diamond after the parking lot, and that was the only place you could put it. No problem. But now as we are trying to foresee the options, we want to make the best of our acreage. Therefore, it seems just to put all the fields back there, to take the baseball diamond now is not a problem because we're setting ourselves up for the future. And all baseball lovers will probably put down their coffee money and we'll be able to put something together for next softball season with our current backdrop that we can reuse. I can ask the building committee to raise their hand and provoke me if I miss anything. Otherwise, we can soon enough open to some questions that you may have. I wanted to just expose these things to you, to definitely be a person of answer if you have any questions. I hope this does dispel a lot of the unknown, to bring you up to date on where we are, to encourage you on where we will go, and to understand that there's a much, much great future that we have here. Going back to these plans, and you can certainly reference as you come up here. So the black line shows you we have frontage on Warner's Road, which is in front of you. That little piece is the frontage. But then we also all own frontage later on, is wooded area. We're seeking of developing that. The architect is looking into it. Is it marshy? Is it water runoff? We're asking all those questions. It might be eventually a pond for fishing. It might be eventually, again, a non-habitable area. We're seeing about that as well. But all of those woods back there are ours, which we didn't even know we had or used. Then behind our neighbors, we own that piece of land, which is most likely going to be the playing field area. And then coming out here to Newport, we own the Newport frontage as well, where we currently have an orchard. So we do have Newport. That could be the part or the driveway into the church. Makes sense. The driveway into the cemetery makes sense. So we have those current options to go off of. However, I mentioned one of my, you can call it pet projects, is the top left black section. That is the plateau near the intersection of Newport and Warner's. No one owns it. I will let Bill Kimball develop that thought. He knows particularly what that means. But it is either up for grabs or no one will use it. Would it be a good place for a church? Everyone says, Father, that's a terrible place for a church. But that is not the highest location of our property. Well, it's not a property. But it's a high location. It's an intersection. It's very visible. For me, it makes sense to acquire it, regardless of use. And certainly to note that that is something we are looking at with watery lips and panting mouths. But there again, it's something that's there. It's not owned by the township. That is just the corner where the flag is. So that is something we might utilize as a parking lot, coming to the gym. We can definitely have ideas for that. That, from me, I think is enough to exhaust you. How do I have that all in my mind? It's just because I've been convinced that this is a great idea. And when you're convinced of something and you want to love something, it becomes you. And now I hope that something can become you as well. Any provoking questions on your friend's behalf? I certainly can end it soon, and then you can come up and have a show and tell. And you know who's who now, and they're pretty much on the extremes of this place. You can hit them, and this is now an open topic going forward.
Father, with parking lots and the snow that we get, what parking lot is better for plowing? Because we have to put the snow somewhere or we lose the parking spots.
Mrs. Stout, we thank you and all of your friends. These are angles that we want to consider. I just wrote someone in France today. That person might come here to volunteer this year. And I made sure that I noted, after all the things I was considering of curriculum and schedule and tasks and money, don't forget it snows. Therefore, I will ask my helpers to think of that. It seems that in the current parking lot we have, just to go out the back could be the best. Although, if we do the new option, we actually have 4 access E's out, which might be better for snowbanks. And the children will love Mr. Dorowski. So I don't know, but that's a great question to ask, and we will certainly consider that as we push forward. I have found out through the many conferences I've given, the parish is very shy. So I've been sent to you who was shy, who now has blossomed, hopefully, and I will blossom you.
I'm not shy. Are there any provisions for girls that want to board with us, besides families that could take them in?
Yes. So to clarify, the question was, are there any provisions for boarding girls in the future, aside from the family options that we have now? The short answer is no. The district has made the decision not to found girls boarding. We've never actually done that, save St. Mary's. And actually, now that I think of it, my past location in Michigan. But we will not go forward founding boarding houses for girls. Firstly, it's not our primary apostolate, and it's very difficult to sustain. And when we have difficulty with women vocations, more than even priests to be in charge is not the best. To also have proper women in charge is hard to find. And then the consistency to develop that. So the short answer is no, for here or for anywhere. The unique option that we had here with Sister Mary John was unique and very blessed for us. That has unfortunately come to an end due to her moving on. And now it is just the families locally boarding. They do have the convents of the Sisters of the Dominicans, but even that is scarce because Messina up in northern New York is primarily boarding. Post Falls, Idaho is primarily local. and Kentucky is currently not boarding at all. Now that will develop, but we will try to have the sisters help. For us, it would just be families who are very generous. We pray that they don't get taxed too much. We currently have, I think, 12 out of town young girls who attend with a family, so that's a little status for you as well. On that note of boarding, please note the numbers. If we consider a dozen young ladies coming from out of town, and not all 44 are out-of-towners, but let's say 35, 40, that's 50 out-of-town people who come to be educated here. This year we might have 170 students, minus 50 gives us 120. It's not the biggest school. And especially when you think of high school, it's hard to pay teachers what they need when you teach 3 students per grade, boys, girls. Therefore, just please keep in mind that the boarding aspect is actually very important for the nation, but also for us, and that's why we keep it in our master plan to help us be sustained, and also to help those in the nation who do not have high schools, because there are more and more that are closing down, not able to be sustained.
There's all kinds of great new furniture in here. Who's responsible for all this? Where's it from?
I was hoping you would not recognize anything behind you. Everything behind me, I think save that which is to my right, has been acquired from Cazenovia College. So we are no longer a high school, we are actually a college. But it was a easy and very beneficial acquisition. We are paying some money for it, but it's very low dollar according to what it costs. And I asked for the full price, and we will never see this ever in any of our locations. It's very good furniture. And so they are going through, I imagine, just a clean out and repurchasing. They can do that. And so we asked for as much as we could. The wardrobes can hold hopefully the wardrobes for 2 people. We have these 2-shelf little drawers, which we can maybe have even 80 of them. There are more of these. As you see a demo of the bunk bed, they can fit under the bunks. So 4 for 3, because we go 3 high with the boys. They're newer, but they're all wood. They're clean. They're sturdy. The mattresses we will just wipe down and go forward. They are plastic coverings. These are our old ones, but we will see what ones we can keep or use. So yes, the mattresses, beds, wardrobes, and drawers. We also have some chairs, I think, behind there. We've acquired. They're best for students who want to relax. You've always noticed that children, mostly boys, just go back on their 2 back legs and break chairs. These actually have a function that can lean back. It's amazing what college students have thought of. And then we have a few desks there as well that we might change out some of our old ones. But yes, all the furniture was acquired through the help of one of our great parishioners, and we might get more as well. And that is why we have changed out all of our middle bunk beds. They are out in the parking lot to be scrapped. So all the bunk beds will be wood. Most, if not all, the furniture will be this new furniture. We will get rid of the OSB wood compiled cabinets. And we are now getting ready for a clean and secure dormitory. Any other questions?
So, in the past, there's been the idea of a vocational portion of BVM, if you will. And in the master plan, is there any provisions for technical space, laboratory space, that kind of stuff?
Yes, there is a provision for possible workshops and developing of the trade aspect of the academy and the boarding house. So the short answer is yes. We are trying to develop into that. It is going to be part of the upstairs. Now, some of the upstairs will be accessible by local boys, but again, off limits if you're not permitted in the house, kind of thing. But we have dedicated a room upstairs to a craft or shop room. We still have our workshop down here. We currently don't have any equipment upstairs. If If anyone knows of any good equipment that could be donated, we are looking. But this year we will start developing through some of our parishioners to make workbenches, to acquire tools, to teach a small group of boys some of the woodcrafting and shop thoughts. So we are developing that this year, and we will expand as we can. But one of the rooms, if you look on the top right, that's the second floor. So you go from the dorm, which is all the way over here. The little room right up next to the D is the house father room. That was remodeled last year. The dorm is being remodeled this year. And then the room across in the far left corner of the second floor is the second dormitory. So between those two dorms, we have 50 boys. The next floor coming down, I'm not going to be accurate, but it's probably a lounge. The next is a recreation room for ping pong. And then the corner one is the shop. So they'll be able to make chalice boxes, make a little bookshelf to whittle something. That is where we will have the shop room. Then after the staircase is the current, I think it's a bathroom, then a laundry room. And then the second to last is the weight room. And the last is actually the library. So I forgot to mention, going through this back staircase will be the library from now on, and we will close off the public to the dorm through a door, a double door there. And we also have petitioned to use some of our local neighborhood garages and people who have some expertise, some of our local people I've been in contact with, who might be able to help to offer during the winter months some overhead space to work on mechanics, to work on cars, work on our broken down items, to take something broken down and to teach mechanics as well. That is under process for us as well. Mr. Peterson.
So building on that idea that Dave just asked, it was discussed about a certain focus that we might look towards here as the school, whether it be towards the sciences was one of the areas that came to mind, in mathematics. Is there any sort of that in the plans or thoughts?
Yeah, so the question is, what is going to be our focus? Every school will have a particular bent. Every college has a particular expertise. And in the society, we are looking for that. It's almost just organic because already we have strengths and weaknesses. La Salette, being the largest boarding for boys, has their unique qualities or characteristics. We also as well. And ours has been the math and science, which we're grateful for those teachers who are helping. And we want to keep that. But we also want to be open and even pursue a line alongside the math and science is a certain trade. But that will start initially with the boarding house. So we will not necessarily offer shop classes to the locals during the school day because we are trying to keep the academics high. But then we will offer extracurricularly and hopefully offer the boarding house time of those things to those who would like to pursue it. And then from there it sees where will it organically blossom into, one or the other. But certainly we hope to keep math and science. And then the trade, I don't think will be a trade school per se, but we could have that quality in a small way. If we do expand the dormitory in a greater extension, we might have both options available to us. But a lot of that trade item is going to require some more square footage as we do know.
So those types of ideas along that line, pardon me, when you open ideas up to corporate America and the government and other things to pursue really dollars, if we have projects like that, does that open the door? And have we already looked at as many different options of both government and corporate grants to support our vision as we can? And we use that as kind of direction to, build a garage or build a gymnasium.
Yes. So great thoughts. So the biggest think, summary of your question is, have we sought extra funding from, when I use the term government, you all cringe, but from the outside options of grants, aids? People love trades being pursued, and locally some of those things. We have in a certain realm, but we will expand that once I take this note and ask one of my personal staff members to do that. We are. So this year we're actually promoting the acquisition of as much money from outside we can to support some of our functions. And that is good. We are asking for the gymnasium sponsorship from outside money, from those who will not sponsor the church necessarily, but a gymnasium. So that is something good to think, and we are pursuing, and we will expand that thanks to your provoking. No more. No one wants to be the last. Dave Babson doesn't mind being the last, and he might even ask another question to make it even more pointed. But all right, I do not want to hold you further. I will just mention that we will have Compline at 9:30. I do think Father Gardner can stay up till then. If he can't, I'll be there. But that will allow you a little bit of time to talk and to mingle, to see the show and tell, for me to be here for some of that, and then to welcome all of you to Compline. If you're not there, I do not accuse you of impiety. I do know you have to sleep. Please take advantage. From here on out, ask questions. I do thank you for your time tonight, and certainly I hope to have more conferences of this. We will mark them the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th going forward, because again, there's much to develop, much to foresee, and many blessings to have, thanks to your generosity, and we cannot forget St. Philomena's protection. Let's stand for a prayer. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost, amen. Glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Ghost. Saint Joseph, Saint Philomena, I'll offer you a blessing. Benedictio Omnipotentis, Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti, descenda super vos et mania semper. Thank you very much.